Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Occam, and in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to Female Gooners Must Be Stopped by shoeonhead. Uh, Quick note before we begin, check out my main channel, Occam's Greatsword. It's a gaming channel if you're into that sort of thing. Um, I live stream gameplay sometimes. Recently, I've been playing Skate 4, or just Skate if you want to call it that. But yeah, check my shit out. Let's get into this.
Oh, I didn't see you there. What am I reading, you ask? Well, just one of the best-selling books on Amazon right now. With millions of sales and almost 20,000 five-star reviews, this book has been absolutely blowing up, especially on TikTok, or Book Talk, as the kids call it. Thousands and thousands of women, in particular, have been raving about this piece of literature. What piece of literature is it, you may ask? Well, Morning Glory Milking Farm, of course.
Oh, God.
A popular romance novel about a young woman down on her luck who does what every young woman does when facing financial struggle. She starts an OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. She wouldn't degrade herself like that. She gets a job jerking off monsters.
That's right, the Morning Glory Milking Farm.
I have been reading Morning Glory Milking Farm since last night, and I'm obsessed.
This was a good time. It did not disappoint.
If this book is trash, then I am a fucking raccoon. Give me all of the garbage.
Get your eyeballs on this because it is so good.
The female Gooner epidemic.
I regret to inform you that there is a new epidemic. An epidemic that many have yet to discuss. And that epidemic is female gooners. Now, for those of you unaware, gooner is internet slang for someone addicted to porn. And smut is slang for dark romance novels.
I mean, dark romance novels is putting it lightly.
Otherwise known as porn. Many correct about the dangers of porn addiction with men, how it can destroy their lives and their relationships, and most men know the material they consume is weird. That is why they are ashamed of it. That is why
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I don't know about weird.
they delete their browser.
What is weird, really? You know? What counts as weird? What counts as normal? It's all a spectrum, though, isn't it?
Browser history. That is why they go incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They
Incognito mode? Deleting history? Pussies.
display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They just
Wait, hold up. That bookshelf said...
incognito mode. But these bitches freaks out here. They just
I love that. Okay, hear me out. And it's all just, you know, those book talk, dark romance books.
display their smut openly in bookstores. They proudly pose in front of their smut collections. They discuss their smut openly on TikTok. They go to smut conventions and get choked out by 9-foot-tall shirtless wendigos. Now, I know what you are thinking. Shoo, isn't this the pot calling the kettle degenerate? Yes. Yes, it is. But have you considered it takes one to truly know one? You see, women are strange, fascinating creatures. For centuries, men have tried to figure us out. Our mood is affected by the tides and the moon. We bleed for 5 days and don't die. By painting my face, I can instantly shapeshift from a 4 to a 6. We are
Oh, come on now. Look, I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture of Shu somewhere without makeup. She's not a 4.
truly
And by that I mean, I would rank her higher than a 4.
mysterious, magical creatures. But one of the most mysterious aspects of women to men is our sexuality. You see, us women are not like those disgusting moids. No, we are sophisticated. We are evolved. We don't watch videos of strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. No, we read about strangers slapping their sweaty bodies together. It's different, okay? You don't understand. It's okay when we do it. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the rapidly growing
Actually, I've been thinking about this for a while. Women generally aren't geared towards watching like live action adult content, right? But I have it on good authority that a good number of them, at least the ones that are into like anime and such, will watch hentai. Is the fact that it's not real human beings doing it, does that make it, I don't know, easier to consume somehow? I don't know, because I once had one tell me that she thought hentai was hot, and the hentai in question was kanajo, kanajo, kanajo. If you've seen it, you know it's because I've seen it myself, right? It's one of those as far as hentai goes, it's kinda wholesome. Again, as far as wholesome by hentai standards, you know what I mean?
Popularity of dark romance on TikTok and the recent dark romance convention that ended in disaster. Let's take a break from all this depressing political news and talk about something silly. Not that those political things aren't important, trust me, they are. You should be keeping up with politics and the news when you can. I know it can be difficult to do, but fear not. I have an app for that. So before we get into this video, let's quickly give a shout out to our sponsor, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers an easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown.
Did she just wink at me? Oh my. She's gonna make me blush.
Of political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the political aisle and ignored by the other. For example, here's a story about how Gavin Newsom is signing a bill to give 800,000 Uber and Lyft drivers in California the right to unionize.
Unrelated, but every time I hear the name Gavin Newsom, I think of the battle rapper New Jersey Twerk, because I think it was, who was it? Was it Chess? Yeah, I think it was Chess. Chess and Tay-Rock had a line involving New Jersey Twerk where they mentioned Gavin Newsom. I might be misremembering that. And y'all, I don't think anybody in my audience really watches battle rap. I've never talked about the fact that I like battle rap on any of my channels, but that's something I'm into. Let me know if you want to see me react to some rap battles. I think that would be fun. But anyway, let's get back into this.
Pretty cool. Rare Newsom W. 12 news sources covered this, 7 were left-wing and 0 were right-wing, because the right is covering a far more important topic. Harvard hires drag performer Lahore Vagistan as a
Okay, W stage name, Lahore Vagistan.
Visiting professor. 21 news sources covered this, 20 were right-wing, 1 was left-wing. A country divided, truly. Ground News also makes it very easy to compare headlines, so you could see how political bias completely reframes a story. For example, talking about how Trump has been posting a bunch of those sombrero memes, and the New York Post says, White House official behind Trump's hilarious meme war on Dems revealed. And then a left-wing outlet covers the same story, like, as the shutdown continues, a checked-out Trump posts childish memes. Wildly different vibes going on here. I have been using Ground News since 2021. It is one of my favorite apps. Like, it is my go-to, like, when I wake up. I, like, check Twitter, and then I check Ground News, like, immediately. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers.
I cannot imagine checking Twitter first thing in the morning. I don't know. I've never really been a big Twitter user. I really only used to use it to enter giveaways and such, and I haven't done that in a while. But I don't know. Twitter just rubs me the wrong way.
And expand your worldview. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. And it's only $5 a month, which is like basically the price of a coffee nowadays. So go to Ground...
Yo, as as a Kenyan, hearing that somebody somewhere paid a whole $5 for a cup of coffee is wild to me.
At .news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen or use the link in the video description. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? So let's get back to the video. Book Talk is a very interesting place, and any book fans out there know how it has absolutely destroyed the hobby of literature and just flooded it with absolute slop. Spicy slop. You see, books on TikTok are not rated by how well they are written or how good the characters are. No, they are rated by the spice. And what does spice mean? Porn. It means porn. Spice level is very important to book talkers. How much spice does a book have? What are the spiciest books they have ever read? How spicy is the book they're currently reading? Spice, spice, spice. And the spiciest book going viral on Book Talk lately is none other than Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nascosta. Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Oh my god! She's just like me! On the verge of moving into her parents' basement, when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job in the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Morning Glory Farm offers full-time hours, full benefits, and generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef. With the manly, meaty endowments to... Okay.
Morning Glory Milking Farm is actually a profound critique of late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
How did she say that with a straight face? I honestly wonder how many takes that took. Because I refuse to believe she said that with a straight face on the first try. That's nuts.
This is every fucking BreadTube video to me, dude. This is every Jack Saint video. So I actually read the book myself, and I'm not gonna lie. The 19th Amendment needs to be abolished. So, like I said, the story is basically this millennial named Violet, and she gets a job basically working at Big Pharma in Narnia, where they harvest Minotaur milk.
And look, because I know someone's gonna bring it up, right? If you've been following me on social media for any length of time, you know that I have it on all my social medias that my dad is a Minotaur and my mom is a mermaid. I look like a normal human because I got like the human half of each of my parents. So stuff like this I find kind of offensive. I don't know, bro. Minotaurs are a lot gentler in real life than people give them credit for, you know? Unless you're an adventurer in a labyrinth, in which case, run.
To make Viagra for human males? And I read the whole thing. Probably gonna be put on some kind of watch list. But listen, this is my job, okay? I'm not out here like selling feet pics or something. What I do is far more dignified and normal. Now, let's take a look at some of these notes I wrote. Let's see. Big dick and balls. At one point, she says the term, and I quote. The seam of his sack. So I'm reading this, and the whole time I'm thinking, like, okay.
What? Oh, God.
He probably has, like, a human head, right? He probably, like, looks something like this, like...
What? No. No. Minotaurs have, like, full-on bull heads, you know, snout and all.
You know, just a dude with, like, horns. Then I see the official artwork. That's a cow.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that looks about right.
Bro is a cow. Bro is a straight up cow. In a few parts, they're being intimate, and it will be like, his
when they're guys, they're called bulls, Shoe.
Hooves.
Don't be out here misgendering minotaurs.
Clip clopped. My hooves will tear up your sheets. And it's like, I'm sorry, his what? At one point, she described.
Oh, nah, see, this is where I know it's fiction because, like, in real life, my minotaur dad has, like, human feet, big human feet, but human feet, because the bottom half of him looks human. He does have a tail, though, so I guess there's that.
Describes kissing him. And I swear to God, it was more disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big and like slimy his tongue is. She's like describing the shit and you're just like, that's a cow. I mean, we are at a solid 5.5 on the Barbeau scale.
Hold up, the what now? Monster fucker spectrum. Okay. Human. These characters are humans without any extra or special abilities or gifts. Okay. Human Pro. Characters usually look like humans but have non-human gifts or abilities. I guess I would fall into this category because on account of my lineage, I have super strength from my Minotaur side and I can breathe underwater from my mermaid side.
Here. This is dangerous territory, folks. She also...
Hold up, I need to read the rest of those.
More disgusting than anything else described in this book. She's like describing how big and wide his mouth is and how big cow. I mean, we are...
Where was I? Shifter. These characters have a human form and a non-human form. Many also have non-human abilities, even in human form. Okay. Humanoid creature. These characters are not human and do not look like humans, but have mainly humanoid features. So basically, orcs. They're known to be a real gentlemen. Non-humanoid creature. These characters are not human, do not look like humans, and have few humanoid features. Okay? And what the F is that? These characters are not human, do not look like humans, and no humanoid
at a solid
features.
5.5 on the Barbeau scale here.
Who is Barbeau, though? Or what's a Barbeau? I need to look into that.
This is dangerous territory, folks. She also... f***ers his ass. She f***ers the cow's ass. By the way...
I've always maintained that if there is a god, he has a sense of humor, as evidenced by the male prostate and the duck-billed platypus. The duck-billed platypus is a joke of a creation.
If you want an uncensored version of this video and all my videos, Patreon. Go to Patreon, become a member. All members get the uncensored version of every video, so you can hear me talking about s***ing and f***ing and f***ing a cow's ass. Is that what you freaks want? Anyway, I like how in this fantasy world student loans still exist. Like, we can imagine a world with minotaurs and humans in a relationship, but we can't imagine a world without student loans.
Student loans.
Sad. Oh, and he has one of those bull rings, like the nose ring theory septum rings. And in this world, that means, like, you're married, but apparently he's divorced. The man is...
Well, at least the author did his research, or her research.
Is divorced. This is a divorced cow with a cow ex-wife. The
Bull, Shoe. Why you out here misgendering mythical creatures? You're gonna get cancelled.
lore is deep, folks. The funniest part, though, has to be when they go on a date. I need to just read this to you. When the bill arrived, she attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together, realizing that in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half. What kind of feminist are you? She asked herself. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smoothed and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night and shouldn't have. Violet. If the
See, this author really did take some liberties because minotaurs in real life don't really do well with like ceramic utensils, like, you know, plates and such. So they don't really go to restaurants. Um, I don't really know why that is, but I suppose that's where the expression bull in a china shop comes from. Hmm. I'll have to ask the old man about it.
Commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her. The heat of his hand dropping to her knee would've. I don't want you to feel that you don't have any agency here. I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards. Your comfort is the only thing that counts right now. And if I overstep, I want you to know you can tell me so. But that's not happening. Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers. You can say no, you can say you don't want to see me again, you can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working. It's dinner, not a down payment of your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story.
Yep. Definitely the female fantasy right there.
She was a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation. Inside every woman, there are two wolves. Or two bulls. The strong, independent girl boss and the submissive, doting housewife. And in the presence of a masculine man, or a farm animal, she will fold like a long
Mythical creature. God, you're really speedrunning this cancellation shit, aren't you, Shu?
lawn chair and instantly return to factory settings.
It's dinner, not a down payment for your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone, so when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story. I said, okay, I highlighted that paragraph for myself.
Clean up aisle 5. So that's what I thought of it. But what did other people think of it? What are the reviews on this book? This book has a 4.1 on Amazon with 21,000 ratings and a 3.6 on Goodreads with nearly 60,000.
Hold up. Book 1 of 5. It's part of a series? So there's more than one. Book 1 of 5, Camera Creek Sweet and Steamy Monster Romance. Is it a series? Oh lord.
1,000 ratings. Let's just read some random ones here. Hear me out. Hear me out. A milking good time. Sweet and creamy. The spice is spicing. I was very leery of starting this because I thought it was just gonna be porn. The plot is pretty good. The plot? Please. This is like the new, I read Playboy for the articles. Like, sure you do. This book could
Is Playboy still a thing though? And I thought they went out with print media.
kill a Victorian child. 5 stars. I'll never look at a jug of milk the same. I think I'm lactose intolerant now. So that happened. Our eyes will never see the gates of heaven. 1 star. Not a helpful guide. This book failed to teach me how to milk a cow, and now my family has no food for the winter. 1 star. Accidentally ordered while on pain medication after an operation. Gave this to my mom as a joke gift for Christmas. You what? Lesai. Why can't human males be more like this? Tall, rich, and handsome are no longer enough, boys. Now you have to be a 9-foot-tall creature from Greek mythology with a 13-inch dick. I never want to hear from another person about how they read 100 books in a year if this is the kind of slop they are consuming. Well, Ronald, man detected, this isn't for you. This is for women. So take your ass back to Barely Legal Babysitter 5 or whatever the f you watch that is so morally superior than this. Let him who is without sin cast the first stone, okay? God bless America. It's great to live in a country where I can casually enjoy cozy erotica about a young woman who milks her way to financial security and true love with a minotaur. This is what freedom looks like.
I mean, I kind of get where this person's coming from, because in a country without free speech, you can't really write a book like this. So yeah, that's one win for free speech, I guess.
And I intend to fully enjoy it before the Supreme Court takes this right away next. If this is what freedom looks like, I'm really rethinking my stance on freedom, not gonna lie. Maybe we should have less of it. All I know is if Donald Trump takes the monster porn, we are going to make 2020 look like a picnic, okay? Bull matters. Oh my god. Edit that out. Editor, edit that out. Women are gonna be picking up Animal Farm now, like, where's the horse cock? Some of you people always
Shout out Vosh.
streamer and apology because this book has way too many 5 stars. Some of you are lying. So after buying this book, Amazon has given me a few interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend.
Why does that sound like an anime title?
That time I got drunk and saved a
Although that actually reminds me of
So after buying this book, interesting recommendations. Would you like to see them? I accidentally
this reminded me of a D&D character I came up with one time. There was a warlock whose patron was a succubus. I was in high school at the time, yo. Don't judge me.
summoned a demon boyfriend. That time I got drunk and saved a demon. Gentling the beast. Cupcakes for my orc enemy. Main of my existence. The gargoyle and the
I
spinster.
like that. Main of my existence. That's good wordplay right
The
there.
widow and the orcs.
As I said, orcs. Such gentlemen.
Hoarded by the dragon. There's something about dragons. Getting it on with gargoyles. Gotten by the gator. Mated to the mountain bear. Oh, so this is why they chose the bear. The billionaire orc. Moth manager. Wolves and whipped cream. The wolf in my tavern. Pounded by produce.
There's something about the cover of this book. I can't quite put my finger on it. Huh.
So what? Are these the books the Nazis burned?
My husband only reads finance and sci-fi books, and so I think it's about time that I introduce him to some real literature. So the first book that I would like to introduce you to is called Morning Glory Milking Farm. And it's not a normal milking farm like with cows. What it is it's big, bulky minotaurs, and it's a special type of milking.
See, honey, she's his stepsister, and she got stuck in the washing machine again. Women on
Look, I'm not gonna lie. If my SO were to show me a book like that, I would probably think it was funny, you know?
TikTok are openly, proudly talking about the porn they consume and getting mad at people when they make fun of it. I hereby ban men from reacting to romantasy on TikTok. Best-selling romantasy books like A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Fourth Wing contain descriptions of hot sex. I feel like that's common knowledge, if not their primary purposes. But in recent months, book talk has become full of men clutching their pearls while reacting to steamy scenes from these popular female-centered books.
Which I think is very performative if we're being real, you know? Because it's not like the fact that that women read erotica. The fact that women read erotica is common knowledge, and it has been for years. I don't think any adult, like, man who's reacting like this, you know, clutching pearls and whatnot, to the thought of, you know, steamy scenes from these popular female-centered books. I don't think that's coming from a genuine place. That has to be performative. I don't buy it. I don't buy it for a second.
Obviously, this is all a massive performance.
Oh, but see, like I said,
we live in the age of OnlyFans. The odds are that these men have seen actual porn that defies the laws of physics and God. Over 90% of men between the ages 16 and 73 watch porn in any random month. There's statistically no way all of these guys are shocked by the sex itself. What they are gawking at is sex from the perspective of female desire.
I don't even think it's that, though. Because, again, with how much men obsess over the idea of, you know, bringing women to climax, I don't think that any of us would ever be genuinely, and I mean genuinely, shocked by the idea that women read about this kind of stuff.
Scenes that depict women coming first and frequently. And
also, I don't understand this. The whole thing about scenes that depict women coming fast and frequently. I think that that's most adult films nowadays. Even I mean the kind that men watch. I think I don't know. At least the ones I've seen.
They are surprised by is the women they know love these scenes. In one video, a guy declares, "Now I know why women enjoy book clubs and wine," but his astonishment in itself is astonishing. Like, what do you think adult women were into? Not having sex and drinking wine? Grow up. Imagine a group of men sitting around drinking wine, discussing the porn they watch. That is—
Oh, that's a thing. There doesn't even have to be wine involved. That's just basically Reddit, no? Also, Jackmate and Jackmate Ranked are real things that exist. You know, Gona video games are becoming kind of a big deal now. There was one that was how do we put this? Non-consent simulator that got banned on Steam, I think it was, a few months ago. That one was kind of an outlier, but Goon games are a thing, and Gooner groups are also a thing. They're not like super common, and don't ask how I know about that stuff. Look, listen, I spend a lot of time online. I'm not digging myself out of this hole. Let's continue.
is what you guys are essentially doing. It's just funny, okay? Like, it's funny. Are we really going to pretend that a story about a young woman getting a job milking mythical creatures to pay off her student debt is not funny? It's funny. If that makes me a sexist,
hilarious.
misogynist, you got me. To act like you are so different and above the other Gooners is just, it's silly. I'm sorry, but you are no different than Joe Schmo jorking it to fat booty Latinas in Space 12. You're sitting there all high and mighty, one hand on the book, acting like you're so superior because you can perfectly envision a horse cock spinning 360 degrees in your mind. I'm not impressed. The scenes these men are reading, to many people, myself included, are insanely sexy. But purely in terms of the acts being described, they aren't all that lurid. And as many of the comments on these videos point out, there is much wilder stuff out there. For example, these men have clearly not yet discovered knotting, a popular term in romantasy right now that involves werewolves whose penises get so swollen after sex they have to stay inside their partners until the swelling subsides. Oh!
Isn't that just what happens with dogs? I mean, I didn't know there was a name for that, but yeah, I think that's why dogs get stuck while they... You know what? Let's move on.
Oh, honey, that's not a popular trend in romantasy. That's just a thing real dogs do. Oh, you just don't get it.
Oh,
you don't know what knotting is. What are these women reading, bro? What happened to that, like, stupid fucking corny Hallmark thing, going home for Christmas to your hometown and falling in love with the cute farmer boy? What happened to that? We used to make fun of that. We truly did not know what we had until it was gone.
True. Because I'll be honest, I have actually read a couple of these books. I mean, erotica books, but the ones I came across, and this was years and years and years ago, the ones I came across were really just involving humans. There were a couple vampire books in there whose titles I honestly can't remember right now, but it was nothing like you know, minotaurs and werewolves. I guess authors broke new ground. I don't know.
Now women out here fantasizing about getting their asses clapped by demons and werewolves and goblins and ghouls. I remember when 50 Shades of Grey came out and people were like, oh my god, this is so crazy. Women are crazy. 50 Shades of Grey looks like missionary sex through a bedsheet for the sole purpose of procreation compared to the shit the average woman on TikTok is reading. At least
I've still never actually seen or read 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know, I might look into that after this. But from what I hear, it's not all that good.
Christian Grey was a human man and not a fucking dog! You fantasize about dating the quiet, shy, nerdy girl. You know, she's innocent, she's pure, she's not like those other girls, like going out clubbing and hooking up with random men. No, she's at home, curled up by the fire in a blanket, reading a book.
Listen, I know this from like personal experience. The shy, quiet ones will shock you the most. I'll leave it at that.
Except that book is about f***ing a half man, half bull. Let me let you in on a little secret. The quiet, nerdy girl is way more of a freak than the average hoe. Are you kidding me? It's not even close. The average hoe might have a body count of like 15 or so, but the quiet, nerdy girl is fantasizing about getting back shots from Cthulhu. That is at least 100 bodies. Now,
Nah. I don't think it's even back shots though, because remember, Cthulhu has tentacles. Lots of creative uses for those.
listen, there's nothing inherently wrong with fantasizing, okay? There's nothing wrong with roleplay. You know, fiction is fiction, right? You know, you're not actually going to bang your stepsister, right? These women are not actually going to bang a cow. Or at least I hope not. We all know there is a difference between fantasy and reality. Well, what happens when they try to bring fantasy into reality? Well, you get Sinners and Stardust.
When did people start thinking Pyramid Head was hot? I don't remember that being a thing back when the original Silent Hill games came out. I really only started seeing people saying Pyramid Head was hot in the last like 6 to 8 years, you know? And that's way after Silent Hill came out. And what is the appeal exactly? I don't know. I don't get it.
What in the eyes wide shut is going on here? Sinners and Stardust was supposed to be a dark romance ball for romantasy authors and fans alike. So what's the big deal? Seems like a fun, sexy time, right? Maybe, if you're a woman. If you're a man, the night may have gone a little differently for you. Alright y'all, it appears I have to make a post that I'm frankly pretty goddamn upset I have to make. This post is for the readers who don't understand consent and boundaries only. A lot of you may know my good friend Animus. He's attended a signing of mine in the past and obviously is a musical artist. This past weekend he attended Sinners
What does that say? Ethereal Treason. I fuck with that username. That's dope.
and Stardust and probably had one of the most heartbreaking experiences. So listen, he's a man, right? But do we think that means it's okay to put your hands all over him without consent?
Apparently people do. Not listen, I'm about to preach here for a little bit. People don't just think it's okay. People think it's actually funny. I have never understood why people think the booty warrior from the Boondocks is funny. That stuff is disturbing.
If I see a man I like, I tell him like this here. I like you, and I want you. Now, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours. What you want, Tom? What's it gonna be? I asked you a question, Tom. I can't hear you, Tom. I don't want to answer. Excuse me, I didn't hear you, Tom. I said I don't want to answer. I don't want to do this anymore. Sound like to me you wanted the hard way. Calm down.
There is nothing at all funny about that. It goes so far as to be considered funny when guys are being assaulted in children's cartoons. Don't believe me? Look up I think it was the Valentine's Day episode of the Powerpuff Girls. It ended with what's his name? Mojo Jojo in a prison cell with a big burly inmate looking at him kind of suggestively.
Love is in the air.
Watching that episode as a kid, that last scene kind of bugged me, and at the time I didn't understand why. But thinking about it now as an adult, yeah, it's kind of fucked up that was in a children's cartoon.
Or to put your hands in his waistband or down his pants or touch his Hello? Do we think it's okay to quite literally back him into a corner and touch all over him to the point that he literally cannot tell how many hands are on him and whose are whose? Do we think it's okay to send him into an actual panic attack because of this? Furthermore, do we think it's okay to interrogate him and insist he detail how he'd kidnap a woman, despite him repeatedly saying he wouldn't do that and, you know, that shit is fiction, and then attempt to follow him when he tries to get away? And if that wasn't enough,
nuts.
during the time of this mob, him and another author received notification that an air tag was tracking him, which showed—
Wait, what does that mean? Received a notification that an air tag was tracking him. What's an air tag?
on his person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until—
Wait, I think they explained it a little bit. He knows how air tags work and that close by ones can trigger notifications. This was not the case. Also, he got the notification way later because he had no signal at the... Oh, okay, that does... It's some sort of tracking device, I guess?
AirTag was tracking him, which showed on his person all the way to his hotel room. They molested this guy until he passed out from anxiety, and then they put a f***ing tracker on him in—
And here's some dumbass in the comments be like, lucky guy, right?
in order to stalk him back to his hotel. This poor guy, dressed like a character in one of the romantasy books at this romantasy convention, full of women. That is like throwing roast beef into a pit of wolves. Or in this case, throwing a wolf into a pit of roast beef.
Yo! Oh, that's good. Oh, that's genius.
Remember years ago, there was this thing called cosplay is not consent. Basically, it was a campaign to bring attention to the fact that people at conventions would often come up to women dressed in sexy costumes and just grope and grab them without their consent. Yeah.
That's actually low-key why I go to cons by myself, because I've never actually seen this happen, like, at a con that I was at, but I know that some people can get kind of handsy with cosplayers. I've heard about this happening from, like, cosplayers online, just not cosplayers that I personally know or, like, from my city or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with people. Don't be out here touching people.
Apparently we have to bring that back, because these women did not get the memo. I've been a furry for over a decade and attended a lot of fur cons. Sure, sometimes weird shit happens, but honestly I can't believe the dark romance crowd is
Bro, when furries are calling you out for weird shit, you know you fucked up.
out here acting like this. Like, me and my buddies in our fursuits are more respecting of consent and bodily autonomy. Get your shit together, y'all. When the furries are calling you out for being freaks, you need to reflect. Something has gone horribly wrong. Not only were the men at this book talk convention assaulted, but women were also assaulted by women. Multiple women, including a performer, reported being assaulted there as well. Even an author there said she was groped and dragged away from her friends and said no matter how many times she said no, quote, "My words did nothing." May I remind you, this is a book convention, okay? For books. Literal BDSM clubs are more respectful than this. There needs to be more studies on how this stuff affects women's brains, because clearly some are unable to tell the difference between fantasy and reality. Ivy Lipton, a doctoral candidate in human sexuality, actually wrote about this for EV magazine. I don't know what a doctoral candidate in human sexuality is, but she's hot, so I trust her. Your brain on orgasms isn't neutral. Dopamine release during climax is a powerful conditioning agent. What you repeatedly fantasize about becomes necessary for arousal. If your erotic imagination centers around abuse, monstrous violence, and submission to non-human entities, your brain is reprogramming itself to crave just that. It's not empowerment, it's neuroplasticity at its darkest.
And this is why I've never understood why people get into watching adult films that involve, like, deep throats and vomit. I've never understood that. That stuff is gross as heck to me. And by extension, things like what do they call, like gangbangs? I don't get that. I don't understand the appeal of that at all.
Scientists, psychologists, and the general public often state that men are visual and women are emotional. When it comes to sex, men can be turned on instantly by a sexual image to spite their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels, because one is a video of two people actually having real sex, and the other is, well, just words on paper.
Okay, but trip on this. I have it on good authority that a lot of women that are into anime also flick it to hentai. So is it that it's, you know, words on paper that's turning them on, or is it just the fact that it's not real people that makes hentai easier to consume for women? Because I once had a girl recommend Kanojo to me. If you've seen it, it's about as wholesome as hentai can be. You know, it's as it's wholesome by hentai standards. Let's put it that way. But it was still kind of a weird conversation to be having with a girl at the time.
I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up.
Wait, I spaced out there for a second. What did she say?
Proven and only people actually having their mood, and women need to be turned on emotionally to get in the mood. So it stands to reason that porn for men is visual and porn for women is in the mind. I'm not equating porn to smut novels, because one is a video of two people actually having real sex, and the other is, well, just words on paper. I am, however, talking about the effect on the consumer. We know watching porn is bad for the brain. That's been proven and only rejected by gooners who don't want to give it up. But is reading smut bad? You might say, duh, that's the whole point. Okay, fair enough. So let me rephrase. Is reading smut harmful? Should we shame people for things that are wrong, immoral, or harmful? In my line of work, I've been told many times that shame has no place in sex. But
Shame has no place in sex. Well, I don't know about that, because without shame, you can't have taboos. And taboos, some of them anyway, can be kind of hot. It's why so many people at some point in their lives try the back door. You know, taboos. I don't know. Y'all tell me your thoughts in the comments on that.
if I use my brain for 2 seconds, it's clear that line of thinking is nonsense. Incest should be shamed, bestiality should be shamed, pedophilia should be shamed. I'm not equating monster smut with these things, but there are 50 shades.
Okay, well, if you put it that way, then yes, there are some things that I think should be. There's a line. Let's put it that way. If you're, because okay, in the case of something like bestiality, animals can't consent, obviously. Pedophilia, obviously, that one's a big no-no for anybody who's part of civilized society. But apart from those two things, and I mean things involving non-consent or dubious consent, those things should be shamed. But anything other than that, I don't know. I struggle to think of anything that's that taboo, you know, that actually requires shaming.
Shades of gray, so
is
to
this
speak,
making sense to
along
you?
the spectrum of harmful. Conditioning your brain and body to associate pleasure with monsters, slavery, or sexual violence is not healthy. Basically, they're cooked. Like, women are cooked. They are frying their brains with this stuff. It's a pipeline, right? It's like the infamous evil alt-right pipeline. You know, you start watching Shoeonhead, owning the feminists in 2015, and then in 2025, you're hailing Hitler, right? You know, the alt-right pipeline. And this one's like, you're reading Morning Glory Milking Farm, and the next thing you know, you're Mrs. Hands, right? Just say no. Just say no to monster porn. But why is monster smut so popular with women in particular? Like, you rarely see the opposite, and when you do, it's just like a girl with cat ears and fangs, or like a—
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I've seen Monster Musume, and that I think was geared mostly towards a male audience.
A 10-foot tall Dami Mommy vampire with giant titties. Meanwhile, women are like, I want to the pollution monster from Fern Gully. So people on Reddit asked this very question. Let's see the responses. Why do you guys like monster romances? Asking for a friend. Several reasons. 1, human men are quite often terrible. Romance books with human men are already partly fantasy, but monsters just takes the fantasy bit further. 2, it's sort of human nature to imagine relationships with paranormal beings and creatures. We've been doing it in literature and art for centuries. It's just gotten a lot more graphic now, lol. 3, unique body forms / parts and so many different kinds of dicks. Scary, mean, terrifying creature is sweet to her, kind, takes care of her, protects her, works hard to be gentle, etc. Maximal escapism, minimal association to real-life assholes, the patriarchy, misogyny, and oppression of women, etc, etc. Because the monsters are less dangerous than dating actual men. As a fat woman of color, modern, contemporary, and even fantasy romances are hard
Who starts a sentence like that as a fat woman of color?
to click to because they are almost always about thin white women and just too realistic, and romance in real life is not always attainable for fat women / women of color. In monster alien romance though, my size doesn't matter and it's easier to get into that headspace and enjoy it.
Okay, I guess I can kind of see that. If you're of a above average weight and the object of your affection has superhuman strength, they could lift you up. I could see where she's coming from.
I'm sick of the men on Earth and looking for some variety. Non-humans haven't betrayed and hurt me, so they feel like a safe haven, if that makes sense. Plus the unusual dick. Monsters have big, fun-shaped cocks. I love some bizarre peen. Unique genitalia.
Although, like I said earlier, I've seen Monster Musume. That was an anime whose main audience was mostly dudes, right? I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You can go see it. And another one was Ishuzoku Reviewers, or in English, Interspecies Reviewers. That one, I think, of all of the crazy Guna anime that I've ever seen in my lifetime, I think that one takes the cake as the most bizarre. It's about this group of adventurers who essentially live in a fantasy world, right? Where you have all kinds of fantasy creatures, werewolves, birdmen, stuff like that, elves and such. And the whole series, it's like 12 episodes, right? The whole series is them going to brothels run by, different species of, where the ladies in these brothels are of different fantasy races, and they review these brothels, and that's the entire job. I don't know. It was a trip to watch, man. Look it up if you can find it. I think it got banned on certain mainstream anime websites, because I know there was some controversy about it around the time that it came out. But I don't know, I managed to see all 12 episodes. I don't remember where I watched it though. Cough, cough.
I don't know what I was expecting, honestly. A lot of women's smut, especially monster smut, is about submission, domination, forced breeding, non-consensual consent. The women are like conquered and taken and overpowered by these monsters. And I think many of these women are reading these books containing monsters and not men because masculinity and dominance in men has been completely demonized in modern society. But the truth is, many women still crave it. You see, the monsters in these stories have those like dominant masculine traits that women like so much.
That's true. Fun fact, the person who told me about CNC was a woman, and I will never understand that. That I think is my line. There are some places there are some forces in this world you don't want to mess with. CNC is one of them.
but they're not human men. They have all these traits women desire without the problematic baggage human men bring, without being the men they hate or have been told to hate. It is the perfect guilt-free slop. But they don't just want a wild dominant man, they want to tame a wild dominant man. Similar to when a man sees an art hoe with a nose ring, you can save her from her daddy issues. You can do it. It definitely won't backfire and ruin your life. Go.
I remember somebody one time accused me of pretending to like Wes Anderson flicks to attract art hoes. I mean, it wasn't the case, but I could kind of see where he was coming from. Because at around that time, I was kind of involved with a woman who would fall into the category of art hoe. It did not end well. A 0 out of 10, do not recommend. Although if you are curious, my fascination with Wes Anderson flicks came about because I used to listen to this rapper called Sadistic, and in one of his songs he had a snippet from the movie, well, not movie, from the short film Hotel Chevalier, which itself was like a preview to a Wes Anderson flick called The Darjeeling Express, I think it was. Yeah, with Jason Schwartzman in them. Good movie, good movie. I like Wes Anderson flicks. I like his use of symmetry, but anyway, we're going off topic.
Go for it, go talk to her. With many women, there's this desire for like danger and aggression, but also the desire to tame that danger and aggression. The desire to be that special woman who can melt his heart. You see, my dragon boyfriend could rip me to shreds and kill me instantly, but he won't because he's nice and he loves me. But honestly, at the end of the day, just like the video I made about the anime girl in a wheelchair where men were saying, this is the average male fantasy, and a bunch of women were like, you want to rape a disabled girl? When in reality, it was just a distilled manifestation of the average male fantasy, which is to protect and provide for a sweet woman and save her. This is like basically the flip of that, right?
Well, I mean, yo, I don't know about save, but protect and provide, maybe. I don't know about save.
This is just the distilled manifestation of the female fantasy. Men are seeing this and they're saying, what do you mean you want to milk a minotaur? When in reality, it's just to have a big, strong protector and provider swoop you up and save you. And like I said in that video, they are basically both the same fantasy. This is a tale as old as time, the princess being saved from the dragon by a knight in shining armor, whether the dragon be a wheelchair or student loans, you know? But in this case, the woman is being f***ed by the dragon and the knight sits in the corner and watches or something, I don't know. Maybe it's not that deep. There are some hungers better starved than fed. And maybe as women, for the sake of society, we have to starve our hunger for minotaur p***ness. Yeah, that's the moral of this video. So what do you guys think? What is your theory? Why is the monster romance genre so popular with women in particular? And who is your weirdest hear me out?
Like I said, I don't think it's just a women thing. Listen, if you're in the mood for some Guna anime, look up interspecies reviewers. It's some truly fascinating stuff.
Honest. I don't want to hear no Lola Bunny, okay? You all know mine already. It's not that he's a fish, okay? He has an energy, okay? He has a vibe.
And I think it also helps that he was voiced by Willem Dafoe.
You know what, never mind. And I will see you guys again really soon with a new video. Bye!
Alright, so that's the video. It's truly some fascinating stuff, you know? Where erotica books are now versus what they used to be. I might look into that whole Minotaur thing. Although it might be weird, you know, considering who my dad is. Anyway, I don't want to think about this anymore. I'm waiting for the Easter eggs that she usually has at the end of her videos.
I love how the f***ing bowl man is a progressive, by the way. He's a feminist. He voted for Hillary. He would have voted for Obama 3 times if he could.
Okay, y'all, so that's the video. Like and subscribe to your boy, and check out my main channel if you want to see, some dope-ass gaming content. Be sure to go show shoeonhead some love on her channel, and go watch her original version of this video. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.